Welcome to another World of Warships Legends news and updates with Ronin47R. Today is May 11th, 2023, and we're going to jump into the news section of the website to see what is dropping today. Kind of some big news here. We've got the May update. Sea Giants is the first thing we're going to talk about. You can see the maintenance times and size updates as usual listed here. Pro tip, go ahead and have that update in the background of your console. Jumping over to the news section here. Uncover the mysterious Jotun in World of Warships Legends. Sorry if I have slaughtered that name, but you can go ahead and check out this video. I will play it in full screen later on in this news and updates, but you can go ahead and see that there. May update Sea Giants, another section here. They're saying that Captain Summer is just ahead. Let's prepare for it with the new update, shall we? But before we get stuck in, be sure to gear up with the 6x Regia Marina camos. That is the Italian camos. You can redeem the code listed there at that link listed here. Highly recommend that you do that because camo is so darn helpful. Now, what are they really talking about? They're going to be talking about a couple things here. Here's the high level. We get to look forward to the campaign to unlock the cruiser Ägir. We have the Italian destroyers in early access. There are 3 Brawl seasons, a 5-week calendar, a new Tier VIII ship to research, or ships plural, various balance changes, and of course, some more information. So that's what we're looking forward to. Let's jump into the very first item, which is the Italian destroyers in early access. I'm really excited about this. We've only had a few that were premium. Finally, we're going to have this in a non-premium status. Hopefully they're going to get some love in the form of commanders and other whatnots, because it's a very unique, I don't pretend to be an expert, but very unique style of destroyer ring. DDing? I don't know. I just made that up. So there you go. But let's go ahead and take a look at some of the highlights here. So with these destroyers, you do have the engine boost consumable, right? So there's that. You also have the ability to have the exhaust smoke generator, right? That's kind of a thing for the Italians. You've seen it in other vessels, the cruisers, some of the battleships. Now you're seeing it here with the destroyers. Now, this is something that really jumps out at me. They're also equipped with the SAP shells in addition to the HE ammunition. What? So it's giving you an option to inflict reliable direct damage when required. We expect these new ships to be very competitive in 1v1 destroyer situations, so wargaming states. But I'm really excited because the way I'm reading this is that you have really 2 choices. It's either SAP or HE, right? You're not going to have to make the choice between HE and SAP as that one category in addition to AP. So very, very promising here. Jumping down here, it says here the new ships are available through crates. We already know that, right? That's early access style. And we will see how that comes along. Side note, by the way, if any of you have stuck with me and are picking out this one piece here, please answer in the comments. Why is it that when you do earn, is it earning? Receive an early access ship, right? You open up the crate, you get an early access ship, it's in your port. Why is it when you select favorites, these by default show up? Like I cannot get ships that are that I received through early access to not show up when I select favorites, whether I've marked them as favorite or not. By default, to this day, I cannot get rid of them in the favorite filter. If you know the answer to that, winner chicken dinner, go ahead and tell me in the comments. That would be super duper awesome. Jotun of the Seas campaign. What's going on here? We've got a Tier 8 cruiser, the Ägir, right? I will be sharing that special video, full screen mode at a later time, so you can really see that. They've just released that as well today. Meanwhile, what is this thing? This is an O-class cruiser. It's armed with 9 12-inch guns, or 305 millimeter if we're going metric. And these are housed in 3 turrets. This is also serving a 2x4 533 millimeter torpedo launchers. Excuse me. And I think this is going to be a really fun ship, but we're going to wait to see, how it performs when it's out there. How similar is this going to be to the other cruisers, the heavy cruisers of the German line? I'm not sure. But I gotta say, I'm not a big fan of Tier 8. I really float around in the Legendary world or in Tier 7. I generally stay away from Tier 8 because I'm going to be seeing Legendary anyway. Might as well jump into Legendary. But we'll see if this starts to change my mind as they come out with more and more Tier 8 premiums and or, of course, you're playing the non-premium Tier 8s. So what's going on here? You've got the May 15th through June 19th. It is 5 weeks of missions, 100 levels of progression. There's a sampling there of some of the rewards that you are going to be getting. Here's a long list here that I will let you just peruse. You can pause and take a look at for the rewards you can get without the Admiral backing. Then, of course, they spell it out here for you. What the value of the rewards without the Admiral backing is 14,633 doubloons. Meanwhile, the additional rewards you can get with the Admiral backing would be 2,500. For 2,500 doubloons would be the listed items here, which of course ends up with this Tier 8 ship. Now, the total value of the rewards with the Admiral backing is 71,300 doubloons. Another thing to get excited about, in my opinion, is the squadron. I'm going to mess this up. Squadron Sfugente. I don't know. How'd I do? The 5-week calendar here for this. What is this? They're presenting a calendar that works the same as the Hunt for Agincourt and holiday calendars, something that you may be familiar with from the past. However, this time it's going to run for 5 weeks, and the daily and weekly rewards are being offered there. And the final reward is a new Italian destroyer commander. Now, that's what I'm really excited about. I'm curious to see. They're dangling this thing, right? What is this thing going to be offering us in the form of destroyer gameplay for the Italians that isn't already out there? Who knows? Carlo Bergamini is his name, and it's going to be available through this update and through the calendar. Eventually, though, it's going to be available. He's going to be available in other means as well. But if you want him sooner, you got to play this, no pun intended, game here. Now, new Tier 8 ships. What do we got here? Pretty exciting stuff. I don't know. I go through modes. I'm going through moods, both modes and moods. Maybe you do too. Right now, I'm kind of going through an Italian kick, kind of liking that. So what's going on here? Catches my eye. A cruiser, Tier 8. Brindisi, right? Did someone say more Tier 8 non-battleships? Well, good, because there's been a lot of complaints about too many battleships coming to the game. They've got a Soviet cruiser, a Soviet destroyer, an Italian cruiser, pictured here, an Italian battleship, and a pan-European destroyer. So all of these are coming to the Tier 8 level. So they're really beefing up that area. Maybe it's going to give some strong pushback against the legendaries. I don't know. Those things are so expensive to run. Don't get me started. Down below, we have some other items here. The Brawl returns, right? So we already saw that was coming. And then the variant of the mods gets underway on June 1st. There's going to be more information to come there. By the way, the Arpeggio returns to the store. All right. So this is the Blue Steel nature. ARS Nova content will be available in full from May 15th through June 5th. Go to the store to check that out. And we also have new ships from this update here. This is an American Tier 7 premium battleship called the Constellation. Besides her beautiful name, it says, this magnificent ship features torpedoes and the radar consumable. Not bad for a battleship. She'll be available in the store starting May 22nd on her own and as part of the XL and XXL bundles. Moving on here, we see the Italian Tier 6 premium destroyer. What? A new premium destroyer for Italy? Sweet. The FR-25. Now, as we discussed earlier, what is this going to go ahead and have for us? And what do we have in store? The exhaust smoke generator, the SAP shells, and an engine boost, right? So they're calling this thing a swift damage machine is at your service. This ship will be available in the store starting June 5th. There's also a Pan American battleship commander, Henrique Fernandez, and he will be available through a special mission that you'll get while purchasing Atlantico in the store. Captains who already have Atlantico will receive the assignment automatically in the first days of the update. Keep an eye out on our blogs for details. So yes, please. Looking forward to that. All right. Balance challenges, and someday I'll learn how to read. So balance changes. What do we got going on here? Well, I'm just going to scroll, right? Kind of a little pre-reading here. We've got a lot of stuff going on here, a ton of bug fixes. mobile information. By the way, when is mobile going to be coming out to North America? Please. Moving on. And then other. So that's really what we're going to be talking about here. If you really want to go down the rabbit hole, click on this link here, our latest Ministry of Balance article, and you can go and see that in a deeper way. But basically, here you have it. You've been caught up to date, really taking a look at all the information that is coming down your way here from the May update. Jumping into the news section here because there is another update to take a look at, and that is the Ministry of Balance reports ship trimming. Kind of a funny way of talking about some buffs, right? And some neuters or nerfs if you want to use the correct terminology. Meanwhile, so what's going on here? So they're talking about the May edition of the Ministry of Balance report, and they're really focusing on some ships as usual, based of course on feedback and their back end monitoring of the system to see who or which ships are doing how well, too well, not well enough. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at this here. The epic modifications tweak. So you may remember those epic modifications. There were a handful that you can get. Be careful once you sell them, remove them. If you're not selling them to uninstall them, you can lose them. All right. So be very careful with that. I was able to get that back through a ticket. So thank goodness. This change is relatively simple. The activation requirements for the epic modernizations have been changed to simply account for damage rather than shell hits, citadel hits, and torpedo hits. Ships with really long reload times were disadvantaged compared to fast reloading ships whenever using modernizations like the main battery mod. Yes, exactly. And that's why I personally was limiting the types of ships that I would put on certain mods because it just didn't make sense. Now we have to go back, not complaining, but it's a good thing. Now we have to go back and relook at these epic modifications to see, okay, how much damage until we move up to the faster reload rate, because now maybe this is going to be valuable on any ship. So curious to see that. Jumping back into this, it says, and your shared feedback expressing wishes to get this change for more equal playing field across all ships. So this is the reasoning why they're making that change, and I'm glad to see it. Now it says here to activate a stage of your epic modernization now, you simply have to inflict 30,000 damage with your ship by any means during the battle. Okay. Any tier, any ship? Really? To max out the effects of your modernization, you have to inflict 150,000 damage. I don't know. I'm going to have to see how this works, right? Because obviously you have, torpedoes are a whole different animal. If we're talking about just main guns, maybe this makes it less valuable. I'm not sure. I'm going to have to really think about this and really compare the different types of ships to put that on. Ship overview traits refreshed. Okay, well, what do we got going on here? Well, they're looking at the apparently multiple things, right? And one of the things is accuracy. And one of the examples they gave was Yamato's superior HE damage trait that has been replaced with superior AP pen. So it says here, over 75 ships have received refreshed overview traits. This refresh does not change the performance of any ship in the game. Ship traits only describe gameplay aspect that a ship has. In addition, many skill ribbons in the game have been updated to reflect their effects and roll better. Okay. So what you're telling me then is when you go into, you're looking at a ship and you go looking at its details and you have that overview and it kind of breaks it down, right? Like, oh, superior pen or, concealability or whatnot, right? It has like a little blurb at the far right end of the baseball card view of a ship. They're updating it. Okay, maybe. We'll take a look and see how that comes to be when we check that out. Ship balance changes. Now, this is really where the buffs and nerfs come into play. They've highlighted a few ships here, the Flandry. This one here is, well, they're calling it right there. It's unpopular. I agree. I hardly touch mine. Well, why is it unpopular? What are they doing to change that around? Well, you can see here, main battery, secondary, rudder shift, concealment, firing from smoke, from aircraft, chance of flooding. So although the chance of flooding have been increased, everything else is a positive. I'm not going to read all those to you there, but okay, we'll see if that makes a difference. You have the Champagne here. You've got main battery firing range. Okay, so it's been increased a bit. Rudder shift time, added main battery reload booster consumable. Okay. Might be cool. Gascon. I'm seeing kind of a trend here, right? Gascon is similar to the Champagne in many ways, but she's much more durable. Okay, so good to know. Well, what did you do here for the buffs and nerfs? It looks like it's all buffs. And it's reload, firing range, shell damage, and not too bad. I mean, that's actually kind of a big deal there. 2 seconds, that's cool. And then you've got quite a bit of damage increase there. Wow. Charles Hughes. All right, well, the main battery reload time, 3.5 to 3. Okay, shaved half a second off. Torpedo reload, shaved off 10 seconds. Added defensive anti-aircraft fire consumable. Okay. All right, well, there you go. ZF6 does well in most regards, but she lacks survivability. Well, why is that? Well, it looks like they increased the health pool to try to compensate for that from 17,000 to 18,000. And then they have the individual pieces here within a ship, right? Bow, stern, hull, etc. Those little buckets, if you will, of HP. So you can see where they have spared or dished those out in different areas. Toronto, for not the place, Toronto in Canada. But anyway, after the release of the SAP shells, we saw that her HE shells were lagging behind. Okay, so the main battery HE shell damage increased. Okay, main battery HE shell fire chances, 1%. Okay, maybe that'll make a difference. And the Montecuccoli, God, I'm so slaughtering these. Hate me. They've increased, the HE shell damage and fire chances. And then lastly, the Trento, the opposite is true for the Trento. Her SAP shells were lagging behind her HE ones. So the main battery SAP shell damage increased from 4050 to 5,000. So that's pretty cool. I'm noticing a trend though, right? A lot of these were Italian, a lot of these were French, and then you had just the one American and one German destroyer. Interesting. I don't know. I just always like to look at data to see how they come to be. Well, guys, enough of that. You've now been caught up with the Mystery of Balance Reports ship trimming that has recently come out here for the World of Warships Legends. And that concludes your news and updates for that with Ronin 47R. Guys, have a good one, and I'll catch you in the next one. As promised, I'm leaving you with the videos from the World of Warships Legends coming out next.
Ahoy there, Captains! The May update is arriving for World of Warships Legends, and it's bringing some exciting new features for players to enjoy. Let's take a look at what's in store. Get ready to command your own Italian destroyer. Available in early access through crates and new random bundle mechanic. These fast and maneuverable vessels sport exhaust smoke generator and semi-armor piercing shells and are to be reckoned with on the high seas. The newest campaign brings German premium cruiser Ägir as the ultimate prize, available with the Admiralty backing. This super heavy cruiser is well protected and offers all kinds of weaponry and a sonar for more versatility in battle. A 5-week calendar event which brings lots of rewards and prizes, including early access crates, on your way to the new Italian destroyer commander, Carlo Bergamini. The event is the only way to acquire him for now. Last but not least, the popular Brawl mode is making a comeback in the May update. 3 seasons with a lot of tweaked stats for high-tier battleships, cruisers, and destroyers await. So what are you waiting for, Captains? Set sail and start turning the tide. Ägir rules the waves with an iron fist. His domain stretches across the vast expanse of the ocean, and his power is felt in every ripple and swell. As the Lord of the Sea, he turns the tides and directs the currents, guiding sailors safely through treacherous waters. Want to get a taste? Take helm of this mighty vessel in the next update of World of Warships Legends.
Okay, girls, tell them who they are if they're receiving this transmission.
You are one of the 47 Ronin. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you later.